Alright. Hey metagamers, it's GeorgeG69, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play Meta Germany in historical vanilla games. So, the first focus you're going to want to take is not Rhineland, because the world tension will help the allies, and there's no point to really do it this early. And you're going to do the 4-year plan for industry. For research, you're going to go to construction, machine tools, electric engineering, and you're going to go continue reduction. And I will see you in the next cut. So your next focus is going to be autarky. Now that electronic engineering is finished, you're going to do mechanical computing. Now that machine tools are done, you're going to research dispersed industry. Your next focus you're going to take will be the Hermann-Göring work for 6 civilian factories. Next focus, or next research thing we're going to do is construction 2. With dispersed done, we're going to go for, we're not going to go for dispersed 2 yet. But we're going to go over to artillery, or not artillery. We're going to go research logistics company, and then we're going to research the focus, or we're going to do the national focus. That gives us another 6 civs. With your new focus, you're going to do the next research slide. Next thing we're going to research is radio. Now that construction 2 is done, we're now going to research dispersed 2. Now that your research slot is done, you're going to research Reichsverband, and you're going to get infrastructure in 4 states. Maximum infrastructure in 4 states. That finished, you're just going to continue down your doctrine. And once this finishes, we're going to research weapons. Your next focus that you're going to take is going to be coal liquidization. And once radio finishes, you're going to start to rush, or not rush, but doing improved machine tools. Alright, with dispersed done, we're going to go over, and we're going to research improved artillery. And now that machine tools are finished, we are going to research dive bombing, and our next focus that we're going to take is going to be synthetic rubber. Once machine tools finish, you're going to research oil processing. Alright, now that your focus is finished, we're going to research army innovations. Next thing you're going to research is you're going to come over to, and then once you finish oil, we're going to research rubber processing. And once we finish artillery, we are going to rush something. And now that artillery is finished, we're going to research anti-tank. Now that finished, we're going to do treaty with USSR. Next focus you're going to take is you're going to go over, and now you're going to do Rhineland. And the next thing you're going to research when oil finishes is you're going to go over, and you're going to start researching better guns. And you're going to do the same thing when anti-tank finishes. You're going to research support weapons. Now that your doctrine finished, you're going to continue rushing down. You're going to go to the right side. Air doctrine, you're going to go down. Now that Rhineland finished, we're going to do the Anschluss. Now that computing machine finished, we're going to go over it and we're going to rush the next level of artillery. And then once gun finished, we're going to rush. We're not going to rush this first, but we're going to research excavation. And we're also going to research excavation with this. Now that the Anschluss is finished, we're going to go over and we're going to research German war economy. You want to basically put a gap between the two. Let's keep working on your doctrine. With excavation, we're going to go over to guns, and now we're going to start rushing them. With this, and you're going to research Panzer IIs. And now that's done, you're going to over to demands to Daneland. Now that air doctrine finished, you're going to continue and go to the right one. Now with artillery finished, we're going to go over, and we're going to start researching the support companies. Alright, so your next focus you're going to take is the first Vienna Award. Alright, now that tanks are done, you're kind of just going to screw off tanks for a little bit. But now you're going to want to research dispersed industry, and you're kind of want to start rushing all your industries. Now the next focus you're going to take is going to be the fate of Czechoslovakia. Now with that done, you're going to continue down your doctrine. Alright, now that your engineers are done, you're going to do reconnaissance. Your guns are done, and you're going to come over and... Oh, so when this pops up, you want to partition Czechoslovakia with Hungary and yourself. So you want to do that. And then the next thing you're going to research is going to be construction. So this is what the map now looks like. So you give Hungary Slovakia, and you take the main Czechian course. Oh, and the next focus you're going to take is research Eastern Clans. Now that this course is finished, you're going to go and do advanced machine tools. Now that that's finished, you're going to do more air doctrine. Now Eastern Clans is done, you will now do Danzig War. Now that recon is finished, you're going to do logistics company. Now that Danzig War is done, we will get a war going on Poland, and you're going to do around Maginot. Now that around Maginot is finished, there's not really any more focuses you really need to do. You can do the infrastructure focus, or your navy focuses, but that's really all that matters, because well, what happened next is that war with France will get bypassed, and then after that, once that gets bypassed, you would do Operation Weisenberg, so that you would invade Denmark and Norway, and the next focus you do is reintegrate Luxembourg, and then after you do the Vienna War, alliance with Italy, and alliance with Spain, so that they would get rid of their debuff, and then you're going to want to do a selection based on how your game is going, for this focuses without an expiration date. So you can either do air production, factory repair, or construction engineering. So like late game, I would do this. I would do construction repair. Like when you're fighting Russia, you might be on the back front, or it's a stalemate, being bombed. Air production, I highly recommend it for the whole game, but in most competitive games it's banned. Or construction engineering. It's just better. Faster construction speeds for infrastructure. It's not that good, but not that bad. Or if you have a hard time resistance, I'd highly recommend doing this to help you out. Armor training late game really won't matter too much. And that's basically all for this segment. There's not actually a whole lot more with research. Basically, keep your technologies updated. Keep your support. Make sure to always keep your support companies in line. Keep your guns and equipment up to date. Or your artillery up to date. You don't want to just work on your land doctrine all the way. Oh, but when this happens, once you do this, the camp from Goofy, you're going to go to the left and do the focuses for you get manpower. You're going to do these three. And then for your air doctrine, you're going to go down, do this focus, and then do this focus. And then, unless you have a lot of bombers, you don't need to do this at all. And then you can do naval mission, and you can do the next few. These aren't too important, but they still help. And then make sure to keep this in check. Industry, and then fighter 2. You want to research this next. And that's the rest of the video or the rest of this segment for your research and your focus for Germany. This is the meta for research and national focuses. Alright, so now that you're on to your next segment, after research, I'm going to basically just really quickly show you construction and production. So, for construction, what's going to happen is you want to build civs in all these 80 infrastructure states first. So let's say there, we did in all of them. And then once they finish, you want to build civs in all these states, all the 70s. And the remainder, these will be basically all the civs you're going to need for the entire game. Because right now you have this many, or you know what, I'll give you a few more. I'd recommend I would say just maxing out these few states. So you have 10, 15, 19, 22, 24, 29, 32, 36. So you get 39 civs. So total you're going to have like 70 civs in that, I guess, late game. And then by then, you're going to want to be making synthetic refineries. And just, basically you can build 3 per tile. I'd build a few. Maybe like 9 or 12. It's your decision. And then just with all the industries you get, you're gonna want to build just everything else in the mills. And then occasionally, if you need more oil, you're making too much, too little, build some oil. And that's basically it for production. Now, for the base game, for the start of the game, this is what I would recommend: is have a layout like this. Delete those tanks. You're not gonna want them at all. The fighter ones are good. Bombers are alright, but they're not my playstyle. So this is what I would recommend base game. And then you're gonna want to cancel your trade with Sweden, and you're gonna buy this from the Dutch East Indies, and this is your early game production. For at least guns, and then I'm gonna show you what to do with your ships. So with all these U-boats, basically set all these to 1, let them finish. I would even let these ships finish as well, because it's honestly worth it. If you let all these finish, but only produce 1, you're really not gonna need that many. And then once they finish, just put all your the remainder of your dockyards in the convoys. That's what you're gonna need them for. And that's so far for this is the early game. Now I'm gonna go into Blitzkrieg version just to show you how to have it in the late game. So let me just pause the recording. Alright, so now that we're on to production in 1939, you're gonna have around 15 factories and guns. You're gonna have at least 25 that would be allocated tanks, 15 on artillery, five or more in support equipment, just depending on how much you use. You're not gonna use that much. Probably about 2 on motorized, maybe 3. And then you're gonna have 25 on fighter 2s and gas. They're both gonna help you tremendously. And then by this period in the game, you should be making only convoys, but the AI is brain dead, so they're just making ships still. But this is what your late game production should look like besides the ships. And besides that, construction, at this point, you just want to be pumping out mills. Left, right, and also maybe a few more refineries here and there. That'll be a lot. And you're doing a lot good on fuel, and also, I just that wow. When it comes to oil, you want to buy oil from Romania. And that's about it for production construction, the early and late game. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to show you will be political power. Okay, so real fast, I'm going to show you guys how to just get your divisions, or just not your divisions on ones. I'm retarded. Just what do you do with political power, so, and what order. So first things first, you're going to hire a silent workhorse. Do not hire Rudolf Hess if you're in historical, because he will like just go ooga booga brain. Historically, the man was just a retard and just like, you know what, I'm gonna fly to Britain one day and I'm just gonna try and sign for peace. And then he got arrested and then got killed for war crimes. So don't hire Rudolf Hess. You're gonna hire the other silent workhorse, who is Martin Bormann. The next guy you're gonna hire, there's a few good guys you want to hire, but overall you're gonna want to hire next will be not him. There should be an industrialist. Oh, I guess like you can't do him, but you can do background backstabber for more political power. And then you can do wartime industry. This guy. Next, you're gonna want to do your Blitzkrieg theorist. Your tanks will get 10% more speed, which is insane. And then you want to do all your research stuff. So you want to do industrial concern, or no, refining. You actually want to do refining. It's gonna be that. It's gonna help you a lot. And you don't really need to do guns. It's not really that important. Tanks. You want to do these. That will be next. And then if you really want it, at this point you could probably do export. And then you can just do all your infantry guys. The order isn't too important, but you want to do him. And you can decide between the two. Reinforce rate is a lot better than attrition. That's what I would do. And then your third guy would be Rommel, but you have to do a focus for that. And then for attacking, you're going to do this guy for 10% more attack. And that's all you really do with political power, and then you also will go war economy. And then you really don't need to do anything with decisions, unless you want to cancel MIFA bills, or you want to increase Dutch trade treaty, which, I mean, really doesn't mean anything. So I don't recommend doing it. It really doesn't matter. But if you do it, you don't want to be a little bitch about it. You want to send all. You want to win it. You want to beat the British ass like you will with this meta strat. And that's really all there is. Just maintain doing it on time. You never. Some YouTubers are just stupid. Like I watched HOI4, and he just. I get cancer when I see him. He just has a few hundred political power, and it's like, oh yeah, I gotta spend it. And he loses a lot of political power that he could have, the gains he could have had. And that's mainly it for just the order to political power stuff. So next, I'm going to be showing you your templates that you want to use and how to use your Air Force and Navy. Alright, so now that we're here, I'm going to show you what divisions you want to make. So first, you're going to want to make this guy into your just garrison. This is going to be easier. So basically, all you're going to do is just remove the artillery. This is going to be your garrison division. Except they do look a little bit better if you make it look like this. I just have OCD, and it just makes you feel better. So, the next division we're going to make is we're going to make a 14-4. We're not going to have too many 14-4s, but they're going to be helpful. Just have a few. Always make them elite. That's always my biggest recommendation. And then this isn't a necessity, but I'd have 7-2s. And then make sure to always have stuff to fully stocked support. Bop bop bop. And then for tanks, since we're using mediums, I'm just going to show you the template that I would use, but we don't have them researched yet. So basically this will be your template. You're going to have 9 motorized and then 1 extra tank. And it's perfect because you have exactly 30 organization, you have a high HP, and you have decent stats. So make sure to add anti-air. And also always have, no matter what it is for recon, always have motorized. It does not matter. And that's that for your divisions. But now we're going to go on to what you want to do with plans. So what will happen with plans is that if you have a Romania player, he will do the focuses like I showed in the Romania video. He would expand the Air Force, local development, superiority, and then the IR-80. So basically by 1937, he'll have fighter 2s for you, which you will buy from him and produce fighter 2s. So what's on you is that you have no way to really get fast casts. So there's no way in the game that you can really get casts too that easy. So you're going to be investing in mostly fighters. And the next thing you're going to do when you get your fighter 2s, which is researched in 39, is that you're going to have air XP. And the way you want to do your planes is that the max level is 5. And you're going to want to have basically everything around reliability, because everything, weapons, engine, range, they just take away 8 per. See, now we have 32. So I'd recommend just kind of splitting it even. Maybe like something like this. This is a good plan. You have reliability, or maybe you can even minus. Get the extra weapons. Now reliability is the same. You have more attack, more range, more speed. So if you have like 500 XP, just do this. But your end goal is to have everything maxed. So basically, when you're fighting, just periodically check your air XP and be like, oh, I have a good amount of air XP on my upper my plane. And so every time you book your plane, they get extremely better. And that's that. And then so for your navy is honestly not that important. But you're gonna merge your entire fleet. It's not that big, but it will get big. How many ships you're gonna make? So what you want to do is that put all these subs to 1, all these destroyers to 1, blah blah blah. But when it comes to these big boy ships, put a bunch of factories on them, so that when your dockyard's finished on the other ships, they'll just stack and make these really fast. And they'll be just producing, and your fleet will be super strong. Well, not super strong, but a lot stronger. Also make them all work on your fleet, so when they deploy on your fleet. And that's mainly it for your navy, air. That's about it. But you also want to build airports. I forgot about that. You want to build a level 10 airport here, and 39. Also maybe another one here. You probably have a few thousand planes. And that's about it. You might want to invest in some anti-air. It's around here. People might try and bomb you. It's a pain in the ass. The allies always build bombs. But that's really it. And for your fleet, there's not a whole lot you really do. I mean, you're Germany. You're not going to use your fleet that much. And now I'm going to go on to showing you next 3 things, which will be the dates for starting wars, your spy agency, and who and when to trade with. Okay, so for the base game trade, you're gonna have a lot of fighters, so you're probably gonna want to at least buy just one thing, and you want to cancel your trade with Sweden. It's just the base game always does that. Make sure you don't have any other trades that you don't want to be doing. That's your trade in the beginning of the game. Now you always want to look for allies, but for at the start of the game, there's no one who has rubber. But Italy should make synthetic refineries or a good bit so that you can buy rubber. You want to try and buy your tungsten from Sweden or Portugal. You really don't have that many allies that will do it. There's really no one that will help you. Steel, you're never gonna buy steel. That's Germany. This just won't happen. And when it comes to chromium, you normally want to buy it from Yugo. You don't buy it from Greece or Turkey because Turkey, I mean you can buy it from Turkey, it's just not really much of a purpose. Greece, you don't want to do it because Italy will find them and Italy normally has a hard time. But you want to do it with Yugo. Yugo is an ally, but they're always weak. But if you give them more factories, they won't put up a bigger fight, but they'll give you more when you take over the land. And that'll help out your ally Italy. And for oil, always buy oil from Romania. And then there's really no one else that has it, except for the people in the Middle East. So once Romania runs out, you're going to want to buy it from Iran and Iraq. You'll be at war with the Soviet Union and the US, so you won't be able to trade with them. And that's about it for trading. And next, I'm just going to show you what you want to do for spies. Alright, so we're going to start out spy agency, the name does not matter, and we're just going to show you the upgrades and what order you want to do them. Alright, so now that's finished. The first thing you want to do is you want to do passive defense. It's just, you're going to basically, just Germany, you're going to have a big pain, and you're always going to have just counterintelligence to the max at the start. So now that we finished that, we're going to upgrade again, and we're going to hire a spy. You want to try and hire a seducer, but a real person you want to have would be someone like this. Maybe not this guy, but Safecracker, Infiltrationist. These guys are really bad. The best one's Seducer all the way. That's what you really want. And besides that, basically, I'll show you the ways that you want to do your upgrades. But you don't want to just, right now, I'm just doing it for the tutorial. I'm just going over and over just to show you how to do it. But you should really just do them periodically throughout the game. You don't want to just spam them all like this. But you do want to have your defense up at max, no matter what. You don't have to invest in your other stuff. It's not too important. But I'm going to show you basically the necessities that you want to do. Alright, now the defense is done. The next one you're going to want to do is interrogation techniques. It's basically another defense level, except it just increases the chances of catching a operative, an enemy operative. Alright, now that that's done, you want to do your decipher. The order of doing this isn't too important. Decipher is probably best to do it first, because you can start deciphering countries that won't develop any spy tech early on. Like if you do it with the UK, they'll always have it really buff. But if you do it early game, you can get just a large advantage on it on time. Next thing you want to do is just pass defense, and then basically all that really matters. That's the last one I'm going to show you, but all you're really going to do is just throughout the entire game, just slowly upgrade these. And then if you really want more information about your enemy, you can research these top ones. And then I don't really find operations too useful. So if you want better operations, then you can do this. These don't really matter. With spy things will be banned. But besides that, I'm going to show you the spy missions. So the spy can build an intel network, which will get you more information on a country. You can boost ideology, which normally won't really do anything. Do propaganda, which is almost always banned because basically it takes a small decimal, like about 0.01% of war support, and stability away a week. And over time, that just builds up a lot. So you take away, like I've had it before, I've taken away 30% of stability and war support, and I just basically collapse a country. Then you can also rid up resistance, which is really helpful for, like, let's say you're occupying Poland or Russia. Put a spy in there, and it will help if you're down on guns and equipment temporarily. Controlling trade is actually a pretty cool thing, and it will just give them us a bigger share of their trade. So it's like prioritizing us. Let's say you're trading with Romania and they're being maxed out for all their trade. You put a spy there that does this. It's pretty cool, but it's a pretty low priority. And then diplomatic pressure is mainly just for AI. It would just basically convince them to do something that they won't normally do without having to spy. And that's all for spies trade. And then next I'm going to show you how to or not how to, but when to start the wars. Okay, so for the first war that you're going to start is Sweden and Poland. You're going to declare war. That's basically just trying to do it in the middle of 39. It doesn't really matter. Just do it at least before September. Okay, so now that we're done fighting in Poland, we're now going to do the focus around the Maginot. And that will give us war goals on Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. And you take Paris, and Germany will take it all. Now that we're back, we're gonna just declare war on Denmark, call allies, and Norway and call allies. Norway shouldn't be too hard to kill. Alright. And now there's all the wars that we're gonna be fighting. Oh. Yeah, this didn't happen.